I've never seen a toilet so high up. It was built dozens of meters above the ground. The reason why the toilet was built so high was because the king wanted to prevent himself from being killed by an assassin, but he underestimated the patience of the assassins. That day the king was squatting as usual. An assassin crept into the castle in the darkness of the moon and climbed up the toilet in the face of the falling poop. Then he stabbed the king in his vulnerable asshole with a sharp spear. So much so that the king collapsed in the pit. But only the nobles could experience such a painful realization. Because ordinary people couldn't afford to build toilets, so they would go to public toilets for both men and women. But luckily, public toilets were big enough to hold dozens of people at the same time, so going to the public toilet became the most fashionable way of socializing among the common people. If you were lucky, you might even make friends with a rat. When people were all cleared out, they would use a secret weapon, a sponge stick, for localized cleaning. And when they're done, they put them in the pool of water at their feet and rinse them off, and put it back in the center barrel. Then the next person picks it up and uses it again. Because the sponge stick was universal, it was very susceptible to all kinds of diseases. And in the Middle Ages, people began to realize this, and began to build toilets in their backyards. But these outhouses were just night jars. These jugs could be specially designed containers or recycled jars and bottles. People would use them to dump their poop into a cesspool next to the kitchen, or just dump it down from a height. Then these unique pieces of poop would randomly fall on some lucky guy. That's why the smart ones use umbrellas. But what if you're just out and about and you get a sudden attack of the feels? Those who had the means to do so would choose the roadside portable toilets. This was also a unique profession at that time. They usually had a big bucket on the left and a small one on the right. Customers could hide in their cloaks for a tip if they wanted to. But those who couldn't afford it often found a place to go. It could be a public fountain, a hidden alley, or a statue of the king. That's why Europe was so full of gold in those days. It was a time to enjoy the flavors of Europe.